The world of hyper-budget gaming mice has been exploding over the past few years, and while they all seem to perform pretty well, I haven't felt the need to really dive into that world. But that all changed with the ATK Gear R1 SE Plus showed up, and this thing is a banger. If you pay attention to the world of gaming mice or TikTok, you've probably come across ATK Gear and their VXE line of mice. And while they have quite a few different products in their lineup, today we're going to be taking a look at their R1 SE Plus, a mouse I picked up for a stupid low price of $28 on Amazon. $28, that's crazy. Now, if you're crazy confused about the R1, the R1 SE, the R1 Pro Max, and all the other versions, don't worry. I was too. The important thing to note is that the shape is the exact same across the entire lineup of R1s. What does change, however, is the sensor, the weight, the battery life, main switches. There's a couple with super high polling rates, the scroll wheel. But the important thing to note here is that no matter what version you go with, chances are you're going to enjoy the experience. There's some differences that I'll touch on later, but for now, let's stick to the stuff that's the same across all versions of the R1. The shape is almost identical to a Pulsar X2 Medium, with super gentle sides and a pretty pronounced hump towards the back that make this pretty killer for claw grip. It's got an incredibly flat and low front, which is super nice, and it has comfort grooves in the trigger that make this thing a pleasure to hold. I was recently reviewing the G305X, and if you remember the egg shape popping out of my hand, I don't have that issue here. It's super easy to grip. The subtle sides and pronounced back hump make this mouse really easy to hold in both claw and like a hybrid palm grip. I've got medium-ish sized hands, and while my favorite shape is like a final mouse medium, I don't have any issues here. This thing feels really great in the hand. Weight, we're looking at about 55 grams. Not as light as some of the others in the lineup, but fairly respectable. They mentioned that there can be roughly a 3-gram difference, but mine came in right at 55 grams. Texture on the mouse doesn't feel as premium as something you'd find on, say, a G Pro wireless or a Razer Viper Pro, but it still feels pretty good in the hand. It's nice and grippy, not slick at all, and honestly, I was pretty shocked at how great the texture feels in hand. It ditches that kind of soft touch coating you see on other mice and opts for more of a just plain textured coating. It felt most similar to like a Lamzu Atlantis. The R1 SE Plus is its mid-range mouse, if you want to call it that. It's equipped with a Pixar 3395 SE sensor, itself a toned-down version of the flagship 3395 sensor. And this is one of the areas where they choose to keep costs in line. The R1 Pro Max, the flagship version of this mouse, comes fully equipped with a 3395. It allows for 4K polling rate, where the SE Plus doesn't. It only allows for 1000 Hz, but at $28, that's fine by me. I like having hyper polling, but it's not super necessary. The only version I might hesitate on is the R1S. That's the ultra budget version that you've probably seen that's going for like as low as $10 in some places. It skips out on a PixArt sensor entirely and opts for a sensor called the X Hero AI Gaming Sensor. There's very little information on this thing. I haven't seen much about it. I've heard it said it's just a rebranded 3311, but it's worth noting that people that have tested this version of the mouse say it feels and performs great. I'll probably pick one up in the next few weeks, so make sure you subscribe to check out that video. The R1 SE Plus is equipped with Hawano Blue Glow V2 switches, and this is another spec that can vary depending on the model you get. You can get blue glows, ice berries, or even kale white blades, depending on the model. So if that's the kind of thing that matters to you, make sure you pay attention and verify the model you're picking up has the switches that you want. But the Blue Glow V2s feel great here. Super snappy, no kind of pre-travel. The triggers feel solid. It's actually nice after playing with optical switches for so long to go back to a standard regular mechanical switch. The scroll wheel looks and feels shockingly similar to a G Pro wireless. It's pretty much identical, to the point where I'm wondering if it's the exact same part. If you like the G Pro Superlight scroll wheel, you'll like this one too. I don't mind that scroll wheel, so this one's fine. Skate feels great too. They aren't massive the way the Viper V3 Pros are, which is the way I like them for the record. But not everyone likes big skates. They feel awesome, nice and smooth, no complaints there. Pretty standard, they're rounded, they're nice and thick, which means they don't cheap out here. As mentioned, the sensor here is the 3395 SE sensor, which is a more bare bones version of the standard 3395. It only allows for max DPI of 18,000 compared to the 26,000 of the standard 3395. But what does this mean in terms of usage though? Pretty much nothing. The 3395 SE is a perfectly capable sensor, and while it doesn't allow for some of the higher polling rates we see in gaming mice these days, for a lot of people, me included, 4,000 hertz or an 8,000 hertz polling rate isn't going to make or break you. We've done absolutely fine with 1,000 hertz for a while now, and it's perfectly adequate here for the time being. If you're interested in higher polling rates, the R1 Pro and Pro Max do offer up to 4,000 hertz polling rate, but if you're interested in going higher, their Zero Ultralight shares the same shape as the R1, but does offer the more premium features. Sticking to 1,000 hertz means you'll get some decent battery life out of this thing too. The 550 milliamp hour battery is rated at 70 hours, and that's roughly what I was clocking in at. I was actually surprised going from my 8,000 hertz Viper Pro, running out every couple of days. It was nice to play with something that lasted pretty much a week. Overall, I was incredibly shocked at the kind of performance you get for under $40 in a wireless mouse these days. This thing keeps pace with my Viper V4 Pro to the point where I practically forgot which mouse I was using. I enjoyed every second of using this mouse. It's a shape I love, to be fair, but shapes being equal, this thing gives Razer and Logitech a run for its money. Will you get the end-all, absolute best of the best? No, but that's impossible to expect at $40. If you're willing to spend the extra money and upgrade to their Pro line, you can pick up the stuff like higher polling rate and less weight, but honestly, you shouldn't feel the need to. Everything that is important on this mouse is quality. The sensor, the switches, the build quality, everything is top-notch. Longtime viewers will know I did a series on super cheap gaming mice a while ago, and holy crap, times have changed. The mice in those videos were literally unusable. That's not the case anymore. ATK isn't trying to scam you or take your money the way those like Booga mice at Five Below are. These are offering a stellar mouse at a price point that most people find incredibly reasonable. I thought for sure I was going to find somewhere where they cut costs on this thing, but if they did, they hit it really well. Even the cable is a decent ultralight cable. ATK isn't the only one at the ultra budget mouse table these days. I can tell you they've got some hefty competition. While I still prefer the shape of the Viper V4, ATK does have a mouse with a very similar shape that might be tempting me. Let me know in the comments, do you want me to take a look at some of the other shapes ATK has to offer? I'm personally super interested in the Sky Zero and some of their more premium branded mice. But what about some of the other budget competitors? MCHOSE, Demo Shark, WBeast? Hit me up in the comments and let me know which ones you want me to take a look at, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.